Hi everyone, welcome back to Stay With Me. I'm your host Lecelin Roberts, and today we're going to talk about travel safety. This is something that's very important that when you're traveling, to make sure that you're safe and what's happening out there. And our wonderful guest, she's from ACT Africa, Hilary. Welcome to our show.
Thank you, Lecelin. Thank you for inviting me to be on the show. Much appreciated.
You're welcome. We're going to hear all about your travel stories and all the tips that you have to share. So, Hilary, please tell the listeners about yourself. What do you do?
So, I am the co-founder and chairperson, CEO of an organization called Awareness for Child Trafficking Africa, ACT Africa. We focus on gender-based violence and human trafficking, the prevention of and breaking those cycles. Our mission is saving lives through awareness and education, so we do a lot of that. Everything to do with poverty relief, disaster relief. We have orphanages under our wing. We create concepts that talk to breaking the cycles of human trafficking and being preventative. So those are the kind of things that we would do. Training as well on human trafficking, on GBV, cyber crime, online trafficking. So it's vast. It's vast. Everything that's preventative, we will, and awareness and education, we zone in on. And then, of course, from the prevention side, people wonder why is there poverty relief? So when disasters hit, like flooding, when KZN had there and helping at the big riots and stuff, and just on the norm where there's a situation where we can and we are able to, in terms of resources, we will then step in and assist with food relief and clothing. And then our orphanages under one of our programs called Orphanage Africa. We have several orphanages under our wing. So through that, it allows us to also vet, so to see that there isn't any kind of abuses going on. If there is, we then do that and as an organization, we're part of our provincial rapid response task team for human trafficking, which comprises of various government departments and some civil society organizations, which is what ACT Africa would fall under, as a civil society organization. And so, yeah, we work hand in hand with government, various departments of government to eradicate or curb, not people to stop, but at least curb, bring more awareness on these topics of human trafficking, gender-based violence, also on the GBV war room, also for the province. And we don't just operate in South Africa, we operate across the borders of my partner, co-founder is Matthew Menzer, and he's the deputy chairperson and head of communications. He should have been here because he's actually ambassador of tourism, arts and culture for Ghana and so.
Okay, so maybe we can invite him for our next show as well.
Yes.
Yeah, Hilary, so we're talking about very serious stuff here, but it's very important to talk about it. I think as a mother myself, while we're traveling with our kids, can you talk a little bit more about human trafficking? In what forms does it happen, and what is it that we should look out for?
So where there's high tourism, so the tourist countries, and it just seems to be on the back end, people aren't highlighting that, but where there's high tourism, there's human trafficking taking place, which are people coming in from different parts of the world. And it's generally in a relaxed atmosphere, meant to be, there's a lot of partying happening and all of that kind of thing. And with all of that, it's prone to human trafficking. Because of all of those things, there's money, and unfortunately, everybody's morals and ethics aren't the same. people engage in prostitution, where they hire prostitutes for themselves, either for a night or for a week, or for the duration of holiday. And often those ladies or gentlemen, boys and girls, are actually victims of trafficking. I will give you an experience now before I go. When I was in Cape Town, and this is going excess of 10 years, in Camp Spain, I was walking about 7 in the evening, coming from one of the places we had bought, and a little boy, not older than 9, came up to me to say something. And it was a good boy. I was so stunned. I looked at him for a shot, not thinking he was a child. But then I realized it's the norm for him, because I could see the way he was. I didn't even know, my heart sank in my, I said to him, my boy. And he's already telling me what, and I couldn't even answer him. I just carried on walking. At that stage, obviously, I mean, maybe 15 years ago, Africa wasn't yet in existence. Yes, I was in the humanitarian space. Mostly it goes back to my teens. Survival, abduction, all of those things. So, you look at this little boy, and my first thing was, here's all these people coming from all over the world. Who is abusing themselves? Clearly, he's used to it. Adults are taking advantage of this little boy, exploiting him sexually, and all the others. And he was like a street kid. And I did say to him, where do you stay? Where's your parents? And he quickly walked away from me when I asked that question. And he just faltered through, got lost in his little crowd, and that was it. And then the next day I became more alert. As I was walking down, I noticed in some of those restaurants, in one particular, there was a girl sitting. There was an oldish man with her, and she was sitting. She was obviously, he came from wherever, and she was a black lady, but you could see whatever. I just wish at that stage I was more knowledgeable of what to do and things like that. She just sat there and controlled her, you could see. And there was no smile on her face, nothing, everything. And you could tell, I was with a family member, and I said, I'm sure that lady is in prostitution, not thinking trafficking as such, that they control. But obviously getting more involved, and as my journey through trafficking increased with us getting exposure and rescuing actually kids from human trafficking, I was more enlightened, and I keep thinking back to that. So, in terms of alertness, what to watch out for, that's a sign to look out for. When you are traveling, watch for that much older, you can see a father and a daughter, you can see when it is there. But when there is that control, where you can actually see that person is being controlled, because there's not going to be this happy face. The language that they speak, and when they do speak, it's almost as if it's rehearsed. They're told what to say when people ask questions. You watch out for those things. You watch out for even clothing. What clothing is being worn? Because if they've been taken, sometimes there hasn't been a change of clothing or anything. Eating. What are they allowed to eat? When they go to the loo, for example, on a plane, is this person going with to the loo? And those are things, and with children, is that you watch out for. And when you pick up anything and you can see on somebody's movement that something is not right, trust your gut and get to an AOC, say to the cabin crew, something isn't right. Now, you're taking a chance there, but you need to alert them. There have been instances where cabin crew, but you don't know what crew is on a plane at any given time, because crew changing. but there have been instances where crew are linked in police syndicates. It's not all the crew are members of the unit. But you will not know, but you will then report it to cabin crew. But at the same time, the minute if you are able to access your phone at that time, there's a universal emergency number which is 112. Dial that number or get onto a website. For example, there's Act Africa's website. Send us an email through the website, a message through the website. I'm on the plane, this is my flight number, this is the flight I'm on, the airline I'm on, going from here to here. This is what, if you're able to take a picture, for example, pretend you're taking a selfie of yourself or something, you know what I mean? Or you just through the window and you just, like it's easy with a video, you can just move it around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And focus and so send it. Nobody, they're not going to pick up because they think you're now being very a tourist. And then you send that through that website or email, because there'll be an email address on the website. It could be any other organization or anything, but wherever you can get help. It could be with police services. But I think for ease of getting quick help, because you know with government departments, sometimes it takes long for them to read their emails. The likelihood of an organization like Act Africa reading their emails sooner than what your law enforcement group is much greater. Because we would then pick it up and see. Even our country 222 from here, I mean, you can access this website, go into it, and that's how you can, from the plane, outside of reporting, say exactly what you've done. And you've reported it to cabin crew or whoever, and this is the situation. Secondly, do not approach. Don't you go and approach. Keep a distance, but watch what's happening. Because you can be putting your life in danger, even the victim's life in danger, because now they know what's happening. Remember, syndicates, it takes 3 people. Once there's 3 people involved, it's a syndicate. When traveling, keep your eyes and ears open. Listen to how the person is speaking if you are going to ask a question, and see the reaction of the person that's with you. If it is very controlled,
Wow, it's very intense to listen to this, and I mean there's such a high number of these trafficking taking place in South Africa, all over the world. Can you elaborate a little bit more about South Africa's situation?
Yeah, South Africa's situation is as General Labia from Hawks said, it's pandemic, and I'm so glad you mentioned it because it's something we've been raising for the longest time, and then thinking it's just smoking our socks or something. And we said South Africa, it was 3 months ago, has not been spared the pandemic of human trafficking in this month. And to use that word pandemic, and it was so active. So with all the awareness campaigns and everything going on, and pressure from everywhere, you see there's more women about human trafficking in Scotland than before. Law enforcement tends to now, after they've done a bust and whoever's arrested and rescues, they tend to be referring to media so that it is highlighted about what has happened, and which is a good thing. So people are aware of what has happened, how it's happened, and where it's happened. So South Africa is a source, a transit, and a destination. It's a hot spot. Then Gauteng is a hot spot within South Africa, followed by KZN and the Eastern Cape. So those are your Western Cape has had the longest time. We had a problem with the school, child abuse capital, pedophile capital, because every time you heard about it was Western Cape. It's not just Western Cape, it's all over, but for some reason, I'm talking years back, even about trafficking, is at its heights everywhere. There's not an area that those are your three hotspots, but you often get inter-provincial trafficking, inter-community trafficking from one community to the next. So it's not always that you're out of the country. From the Northern Cape into Natal, into Western Cape, into Gauteng. Your borderline, we've got the longest border in the world in terms of, sorry, not borders, but we've got mostly borders because we've got countries, yes, we do have around us. And then our port line, where our ports are, we've got the longest in the world because it stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to the Indian Ocean. And all of them are major harbors and ports that are along there. So yes, that also fuels your human trafficking. Where there's activities, sporting activities like in the World Cups and things like that, there's human trafficking taking place because, and especially sex trafficking, that's been utilized. So, South Africa's situation, sex trafficking is your top, and then you've got labor trafficking, forced labor. So, if you've been following media over the past few years, you can see a lot of people coming in, men especially, that have been brought into the country from different parts of Africa, and these are for forced labor, but ladies as well. Act Africa had a case 2 years ago, last year. A Limpopo woman that was brought in from an outside country. It was reported to us. The woman escaped. Someone called us and she was landed up at the police station. Police handed her right back to where she was, and I was like horrified. So we reported it. Managed to get the woman who got SAPS went watched for a while. The Hawks watched for a while, made a bust. They didn't find just one person, they found another lady as well. She was then rescued. So it took a year following our report as Act Africa before an actual bust took place. And I mean, there was a husband involved who was a doctor. He worked out of not in the same vicinity, but like I said, in a province or somewhere quite far away, and he acted as though he didn't know what was going on. Question mark. And it was the wife of that. I just thought, how long? As long as they're safe, the ladies were obviously put into a place of safety. And obviously the case was, but the lady was arrested.
So this is labor trafficking is another form of slavery?
It is slavery. Human trafficking is slavery because you become a sex slave. Slave in terms of, and that was what you call domestic servitude. So it wasn't in a factory, it was in somebody's home. And then apparently it happened before. There were many that were here before. How they escaped or got away, I don't know. And obviously there's no pay, hardly any pay, if any. They are abused, beaten, in some cases sexually abused as well, and their documents are removed. So that is big, and then you've got the big thing that's taking place as well, which is your muti, not just kids, but even adults, but specifically kids being murdered for the purposes of witchcraft and muti. And then they abducted, obviously, and also for the purposes of illegal adoptions, which now places like Denmark have stopped. They've actually banned it. They will not allow any adoptions to take place from South Africa and few other countries in Africa because of the irregularities also in the paperwork, false documents, and all of those things that happen.
So it means that it happens a lot. They have to put these measures in place.
So when kids are abducted and they're not found for periods of time, if they are not killed, and it's not for the purposes of parents squabbling over custody, or somebody is just psychotic, or if it's not a pedophile for their own purposes, that they've taken a child, that child is for those things, cannot rule out human trafficking. You cannot rule it for whichever purpose. It could be even forced labor depending on the age of the child, but a little toddler, baby, then there's, if it is human trafficking. The like, it could be sex trafficking, can be illegal adoption. And if that child is killed and you find body parts are missing, then obviously it's what you call organ harvesting, organ trafficking.
So when we talk about human trafficking, it can happen to any gender, any age, if I listen to me.
Yes.
So it's not like you've got a certain targeted group.
No. So in your sex work situation, the older the older you get, or more experience you get in any kind of job, the more you are sought after, right? Because you've come with a wealth of experience and you know yourself and you're confident about what you're doing. The sex trade is the opposite. The older you get, the more experience you get. They're not worried about your experience. The older you get, doesn't matter what, you find out. So that is why if you are in the sex trade because of trafficking and stuff, when it gets to a point of maybe that, or they just have no need for you, or whatever, there's two things that happen to you. They'll kill you, and you were chucked out onto the street, and many are homeless as a result. And of course, enslaved to drugs, because with sex trafficking, those drugs, that's what they use to control you, enslave you. You should come back to your source all the time. With your high tourism, like going back to your Cape Town, your Durbans, etc., those places you're going to find a high rate of possible trafficking taking place.
So what measurements can people put in place so that it doesn't happen, or reduce the chances of happening?
Well, as establishments, firstly, I would align myself with an organization that is anti-human trafficking. Like, for example, your place. I'm not trying to, but yes, I am promoting Act Africa. Align yourself with an organization like Act Africa. So if there is anything, you can report it to us and things, and make it known. Say to your guests, have a clause in your website, have things up. Because you know guests are going to explore, they're going to go places, they don't often know what they're getting into. And human trafficking isn't always, I'm going to abduct you, I'm going to take you, and whoops, there you are into the world. They probably could meet somebody on holiday. And over that stretch of time, maybe they go back to where they got their connections made. So they start grooming them from then onwards. And before they know it, the coin flips at some point. And they'll find, because the activities and stuff, it could be especially then the lover, what you call the lover boy tactic, where they get involved in a relationship with a person. So now you start getting comfortable and you start going to places, and they start introducing you to things. So it's a process of grooming, deception, lies, abuse of trust, and everything to get you to the point of getting them to do, getting the victim to do what they want them to do. And obviously, once you realize, hold on, once they get you to that point, and now business is changing. The coin flips, they're no one as nice to you as all of that time, or as loving, showering you with gifts and all of those kind of things. The first sign of them getting you to do something that is out of character, it may not even be of the sexual nature initially, but it's not what you would do. It's out of character completely. And you can feel this is not right, this is illegal. Also, trust your gut, or you just have a feeling something isn't. It's too good to be true, trust it. Trust your gut and break it off and never have anything to do with that person again. If you suspect there's something illegal, don't alert them. Don't alert that you know. You break it off and you alert one organization and say, and that's what I would suggest. So when you have your patrons coming in there into that place, have the numbers up within South Africa that they can contact and say, we in trouble, we need help. They may not want to speak to you, but they're able to contact that number directly and say, I'm from wherever it is, and please, I need assistance. Have talks even, have little info, like we're doing, or even at your place where you have a setting of whatever event is happening. It doesn't have to be a human trafficking event. As part of your event, as part of your wine tasting, have somebody come and speak just on social issues, because it impacts. The wine farms are fraught with forced labor.
So there's definitely some things that we can look out for, just to see if somebody's uncomfortable, all of the signs that you were mentioning that we can look out for.
Yes.
And with Act Africa, you said that you are international.
Yes.
So if anybody, say from Cape Town or another country, they can still contact Act Africa?
100%. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
and you've got measurements in place too.
Yes.
Okay, that's wonderful to know, Hilary. So this is a travel podcast. It's important to talk about safety and not just the glamour of travel. So Hilary, also for yourself, do you like traveling? And
I do. It's just extremely expensive, but I love. If I could be away every weekend, I would. I'm always looking at travel things, watching travel programs. At one stage, I used to actually arrange holidays, not just for family and I would source out which is the best option and the nicest option and flight. So it's just something that I enjoy, and I'm forever looking at beach holidays and that kind of thing. So yes. And just another thing, it's something with the tourism, you being into, if you, tourism boards and things like that, we trying as Act Africa to get the inroad there, to actually get to our Minister of Tourism, to actually highlight these things, because it should become part and parcel of the whole tourism package, about human trafficking, what's happening, and what to look out for, and where to get out, etc. So it should become a very, very vital part of the whole tourism industry. But it seems to not be looked at. Every other area, Home Affairs will look at it, social development. The tourism sector needs to engage and to eradicate the trafficking. Gender-based violence happens across all sectors, but your trafficking within the tourism sector highlighted. It will also promote South Africa to show that we are loved, we are aware, we're promoting safety. This is how, and this is what we can do. So that will promote safety as well, and as well as attract more tourists into not just Cape Town, but South Africa as well.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that's important, and that's something that I can take from here. It's something that I can put in place in my guest house.
Fantastic.
And also promote it in the tourism boards where I'm
Oh,
involved.
wonderful to hear
Yes,
that. I'm so
yes,
glad you
definitely.
are. So on that note, I'm going to introduce me to them so that I can.
Definitely,
Yes.
definitely. I'll definitely do that. And I mean, we've got the show as well. So anybody that want to be in touch with Hilary, she'll share her details afterwards, and we'll still have it in the show notes as well. So, Hilary, also to come back to your traveling, you came in here already on a bus because you want to buy
Yes.
flight tickets. So
Yeah.
that is amazing to see. So, which were your favorite destinations you say you like to organize?
Well, I love the ocean for various reasons. Cape Town is one of my family in both coastal towns on the rock. So I love Umhlanga rocks. Well, I love the Indian Ocean because it is very beach friendly in terms of the water temperatures, and I just love they've got the longest pier. Well, that's your Durban, but Umhlanga Rocks area, that's my favorite spot. Yeah. Cape Town, I haven't much experience about Cape Town apart from Camps Bay, and I love Camps Bay apart from the experience which I had and which I think, and it's something I've never forgotten and I always think about, so people are aware of what's happening there. Beautiful, I love the scenery of Cape Town, the mountains, so it's something really breathtaking. I wouldn't go to Cape Town. I think winter time Cape Town is not such a nice place, especially when it's raining, because I'm not really a person who's fond of lots of rain. I can handle it in Durban because it stays warm. But when it starts getting that cold, even here in Gauteng, I'm not. Enough, and the rain just stopped. I know we need it, God forgive me, but I like quick showers and then it must be gone. Yeah.
I hear you. So I think you should come back to Cape Town because there's so much more to explore.
I look forward to it because I
please.
would love to. Yeah, we were. I haven't like the wine farms and all of those kind of things. I know there's a strawberry farm. Is the strawberry farm?
Yes,
I was
yes.
at that farm as well. Yes, this is strawberry farm. I'm thinking which berry was it?
Yeah, there's quite a few strawberry farms in the area.
But I've been to Spear Wine Estate. That was quite nice. The only thing Cape Town doesn't have, which I think is one up on you guys, is where Gauteng and stuff is your game farms.
Yeah. We do actually have. We've got Aquila Game Reserve. There's one, other one next to or close to Worcester as well.
But
So
it's
we've come up a little
bit,
in terms of
like I mean within not even 20 minutes drive from here, we've got Lion Park, we've got a game farm.
Yeah.
So our game farms are here. That's okay, we're on the ocean, and then you get from KZN side, the Mpumalanga side with those game farms and that they have, and they have the big five. So they seem to have a combination of Cape Town, Durban itself, or KZN, as well as your Gauteng. So that I think for me is what I like, and then going to the Valley of 1,000 Hills, that rich history as well with KZN. Cape Town's rich history, which is our history, speaks volumes. So
definitely, but I think that's what makes Gauteng also so attractive, is the game farms and all of that. And
it's
I'm in Joburg now.
as well.
Yeah, I'm in Joburg and it's just a different vibe, and yeah, I love the city. So it's nice. South Africa's got so much to offer to our international and local guests.
And our weather is fantastic all round. I mean, we've got different provinces that have their own weather patterns, but on the norm, our weather is great.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a place to be. You just need to obviously have your eyes and ears open for the untoward, I don't want to use the other word, the things that shouldn't be happening, which also happens in other parts of the world, mind you.
Yes.
It's not that South Africa sticks out. We do stick out like a sore thumb, but our situation is a matter of the skeletons being out of the cupboard. It is there, you know it, you see, which is a good thing, which means you can address it and have countermeasures in place. Many other places don't. Because of, for whatever reasons, the governments won't allow, because it's going to affect your investments. And people, unlike South Africa, we learn to be vocal and speak out, coming from your apartheid era and say, this is not happening. This is what's going on. Other countries, it's not really as prevalent as here in South Africa. So people think we shouldn't, we mustn't. If we do say something, this or culture, that a whole lot of things contribute to those kind of things. So those kind of negativities tend not to be spoken of. And unless you get there, surprise, surprise, it's not much different from where we are.
That's true. That I agree with you. And the beauty of this show is also to make people aware, but also to show them that there's measurements, there's some things that's in place. So it's something that we see and we're doing something about it.
100%.
Yes. So Hilary, in our final part of the show, is there anything that you want to share to the listeners that you think is important to know?
Don't look the other way because you're on holiday and you think to yourself, I'm on holiday, I don't have time for this. I can't stress myself out with this kind of things. You know what? That very next situation could be you or a family member, and you would want somebody to help. So don't be alert while you are on holiday, but don't now go and try and be a superhero and you end up endangering yourself. There's ways to help without endangering yourself or the person that is in trouble. Be wise about it by utilizing the helplines and the resources that are out there to get that necessary help. Take pictures. If you see something, try and take pictures. That's the truth. And then, like I said, your brother's keeper, your sister's keeper, please don't look away. Don't look away. Silence hides violence. And we need to break it. And the only way you're going to break it is if you're going to speak out. And I'm not meaning necessarily on a platform, to law enforcement or to somewhere where you can get help. And overall, enjoy your holiday.
Okay, so Hilary, you've given us some phone numbers that we can call. If you can also just share with the listeners your contact details, your social media platforms. Please.
Alright, so you can get contact us at info@actafrica.org.za. Our website is www.actafrica.org.za, and through those platforms you can contact us. And our social media handles: Awareness for Child Trafficking Africa on Facebook and on LinkedIn. And then on Instagram, please follow us as at ACT Africa. There's no underscore, it's just as at ACT Africa, ACT Africa. Please follow us and you can DM us on any of those platforms. We do not give out our telephone number for security reasons. And when you email us, it is in black and white, so it eliminates any chances of us getting the information incorrect when we need to relay it for further help wherever that may be.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Listeners, if you need to reach out to Hilary, she gave all of her details.
Yes.
But we'll also include it in the show notes. If you need to get hold of us, please follow us first of all on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe so that we can have more followers and share much more travel information with you. Otherwise, you can get hold of us at Staymore Guesthouse. Our email address is info@staymoreguesthouse.co.za, and you'll also find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram.